almost all the professional services firms I have looked at, and I've diagnosed almost 95 of them so far, they run on the same engine, referrals. And referrals, they arrive on their own schedule whenever they want, and never on when you want to get new clients in the door. So my team has analyzed over 45,000 LinkedIn posts to learn for what actually creates clients for experts. And with that knowledge, we booked over 100 qualified sales conversations through LinkedIn and collected thousands and thousands of leads directly onto the CRM of our clients. The clients have then closed over $5 million of annual contract value out of these systems. Examples of those are Frederick, who runs a financial advisory firm in Denmark, and by his third month working with us, his content was doing 200,000 impressions per month. And also watch him prove his value, right? He can do his talk, people will trust him more, and then be more inclined to respond on his direct messages. And the system that produced all of this for him as well runs also my business as well as those 95 other businesses I've shared today. So for this video, I'm going to draw out the entire system that we use to get these results for clients, all on one whiteboard, all the 5 parts, and I'm going to hold nothing back. By the end, you'll know exactly how a firm like yours will get this same end result of steady, qualified conversations with your ICP to grow your own pipeline. Without also you needing to write posts at 11 p.m. at night or needing to hire 3 to 5 marketing employees within your business, and without renting an agency that also builds something for you and then takes it away the moment you stop paying, with also writing words that do not sound like you. So the plan in 4 steps is that I'm first going to show you what the loop is like that keeps firms like you stuck in referral weather, right? When it rains, referrals come in. When it stops raining, there are no referrals anymore. Second, the machine itself in 5 parts. I'm going to walk you through how they connect interchangeably and what we do to fix this. Fourth, the 3 mistakes that kill the system and the exact order to build it in if you want to do it yourself. So let's get into it. The AI marketing system you as a financial services firm should own. It's built on 45,000 LinkedIn posts that we analyzed internally. It's also used within hundreds of sales calls that we booked for our clients, thousands of leads collected and sent straight into their CRM. So their sales department or the founder, if it's founder-led sales, could work the leads. With Frederick, for example, a couple of his stats where in one of the peak weeks we hit 46,000 impressions, and Tim Keen, different one of our clients, closed 27.5K on day 1 with 185 calls booked in 3 months, which is absolutely insane, purely from the system that we built for him. So one of the founders that we work with described his system like this. We had a chat last week, and he gets about 12 conversations a year, and maybe 4 of them actually close for him. And you cannot really call that a pipeline. So the loop looks like this. He's busy with client work because he has some existing clients that continuously ask him for help. Then marketing stops because he's busy with all this client work. And about 4 to 6 months later, a quiet quarter comes in because there has been no work within the marketing department and nobody knows that they exist. Then panic sets in. They think, shit, I really need to do something with my marketing. Really need to get people in the door. How do I get new leads? My referrals are stopping. So he's trying to refer himself out inside his own network again, right? Make himself known within the people he knows. And then referrals start coming in again. He gets busy with client work. Marketing stops. Quiet quarter. And just keeps going, keeps going. And this is not a one channel. You can turn up or down or aim to certain people you want to fish in or you can control, right? The whole thing that drives this is your calendar and your availability within the calendar. But you cannot scale this up or down. And it's like a look system, right? So the way we would fix this in 5 parts is that in part 1, we would have the second brain. What we call a second brain, where we load all your expertise, all your cases, frameworks, voice, knowledge. We extract it all from your brain and we load it all in this digital second brain. We also do multiple hours of interviews that we'll then also It will be recorded, kind of like a podcast setting, you interviewing you and extracting all this deep industry knowledge from your brain and the way your brain thinks and how you think about certain client cases, for example. That's recorded, so we have video footage. We also have the transcript, which we can then load into the brain, so we can use it in the future. And the video material, super interesting, we'll also reuse as podcast snippets throughout your social media profiles. So with that, you'll produce 10 to 30 hours of high value material a week, which you also, we found out, already do. So you already produce this. So you already produce all this content within your current workflow week to week, because you're doing all these calls probably with your team. You're doing all these calls with your clients, and they're not being recorded. If you do record them, you can all load them into the brain. And that's the system we set up to also capture this. So on top of us asking deep expertise questions about you and the way you think, we'll also be able to extract more material already out of things you're doing. But if you don't do this, it will just turn into like generic information, and the content just never will sound like you. But in this case, it will, because it came from you. So then part 2 is that we'll post 1 post a day in your voice from the brain. So we know how you think. We can just ask the brain anything we needed to ask. And then we can extract with all our content frameworks LinkedIn posts from it, so we can then distribute those. We'll also rewrite your profile so the attention then converts. We don't want to really go viral here. It's not really the end goal. It's more to build up trust with your audience. That's also why we're reusing those podcast snippets to build up more trust and get other people to be familiar with how you speak and how you think, right? So the goal is that when an ideal client sees you, they actually hear the person they were told about. So they think, okay, this is how this do things, and he can actually provide value to me. So part 3 here is the capture phase. So most agencies as well, when they start working, they actually stop here at the content engine. Whereas the capture phase is actually the most important. Because what are you going to do with all those eyeballs that land on your posts? What are you going to do with all those people that see your content, right? Or engage with your content? If you don't do anything with those, then you're also just hoping on people to reach out to you, which is something you don't want. You want to be in control here. You want to build a system. So we capture all the intent signals on your posts, like likes, comments, reposts, but we also capture your entire DM history on LinkedIn, so how many people you've been chatting with, and also how long the chat is, right? We can score warmth on how long you've been chatting with someone, plus we'll score all those signals on your ICP. So this will create a list you own as well, right? Which is something no algorithm can take away, because we capture that. Then from there, we can start conversations. So we can do signal-based outreach. Hey, saw you like my post last week. Really appreciate it. XYZ question, right? What did you like about the post? And what made you like it? Are you familiar right now with XYZ, right? Are you having trouble with XYZ? So those are hooks you can use to start up conversations and build up more trust in a conversation. So engage, download, asked, and then we follow up value first. So we send something over, like it said here as well, a diagnostic or a calculator or a checklist, something valuable. Something that also works very well here is sending over the actual podcast that we recorded a while ago, right? That's just a value dump. Hey, here's how I think. Maybe you can get something out of it. So we never want to pitch blast strangers. We want to value-based, build up a connection, and provide value until they think, wow, this guy is credible, he has authority, I want to hop on a chat with him and learn more about how he can help me. And in a trust business, that is everything. So from there, obviously, booking. Where booking is also important that the people are qualified that hop on a call with you. You want to actually work with the people you can help and speak with people you can help. So we want to qualify them before they cost you an hour, right? We make sure that all those leads get added to your CRM when on one screen, you can see them all. You can see all the trades, all the stats. Are they qualified? Are they not? What are the requirements for them to be qualified, right? We'll use that in one of the first chats. We'll set those qualification criteria. And then you actually be able to see all the signals in a big list in your CRM and also see the power of the whole structure together. So whole value of the system is that you own all of it and it's built inside your own accounts, where one operator, either yourself or one of your team members, approves all the content instead of 5 people creating it and you're not really getting results, right? We've done all the pre-work essentially for our clients. Then a couple results here is that obviously Frederick, 200,000 impressions a month by month 3, with 480 warm leads collected and 12 booked sales conversations by us. Not to even mention the whole pipeline on the back end that can still come from everything we've done, right? Over the entire time span of his LinkedIn profile, of his business, his LinkedIn profile will just keep churning. So he didn't have a pipeline anymore that stopped depending on whether he had a free evening or not. And the accountancy firm, a different example, it's from the UK. We collected 1,500 leads-ish with 32 booked calls in 4 months. This person also closed clients straight from content, which is the same machine that also runs, obviously, our business ourselves. So the solution and also the issues is that door one of the solution is do it yourself, where you are the engine. So you are building it all out. You are doing your own content. You are back inside the loop. You are doing your own marketing in your own free time, and you don't really have free time. Or you're stuck into the client delivery kind of cycle and waiting for referrals to stop. Door two is you hire people. So you hire a real operation with 3 to 5 people, 150 to 250K a year. You have to pay for this. It rarely survives the budget meeting as well. Plus, most of the times, you as a founder also need to know a lot of stuff about marketing to then be able to train these people on how they need to do their marketing. It's not like if they're going to come fresh out of college, they need to know everything. They don't have any experience. So most of the times you need to teach these people as well. So you're still kind of stuck here, and now you have a little bit of help. Option 3 is that you rent an external agency where you have to pay a retainer every single month, and an outsider writes in your name. They don't really do proper research. They don't make a brain. They just let you fill out a super long onboarding form. They throw that onboarding form in AI, and they let AI just run with it. Yesterday, I heard a story of someone that actually had this exactly happen. So this content writer took an onboarding form of like 20, 30, 40 questions. The client had to fill that all out. Took an hour to fill it all out. The ghostwriter, copywriter, then used that form, plugged it into AI, just used that, plus AI, not even any IP or frameworks on how to write the best LinkedIn post. Like we have 45,000 LinkedIn posts inside our database, and we score them all against like performance metrics. So we know what works on the platform. We also know all the conversion data on the back of those posts. So which post generated the most revenue and the most clicks and the most engagement. We know all that. But this person didn't do any of that. It's just one AI LinkedIn post. And the LinkedIn post just looked like it was written by AI. It was not good. It was not in the tone of voice of the client at all. So that's rented activity as well. If you stop paying for this person, you own nothing. He also lost it all. And at the end of the day, he got in conversation with us. He didn't believe that we would do all of this. And that's just because we built out this whole system over the last couple of years, and we've implemented it in so many businesses that we know what works. And every single time the system gets a little bit better, really trying to build it from that kind of mentality. So we really like what we were doing. So that's great. But he still kind of felt burnt, and he thought he could do it himself as well. Like it was not really valuable. So door 4 is that you build the machine once inside your own accounts and one operator runs it. This can be us, it can be you, or it can be a teammate. We'd also provide SOP documentation and training for the person that will run it. Then the expensive part here is the team that the tools replace, obviously. It's not really the tools. So the 3 biggest mistakes we see when people trying to build this out is that they skip the brain. So that will result in generic sludge or poop, where your clients will smell this in a second that it's not you that actually have written these posts. It's either an agency. They can see that. If they've spoken to you in real life, they know how you talk, they know how you act, and then all of a sudden there's a post that comes online where you're not that humble in, like normally in real life you might be very humble or very down to earth, but in the post you're like talking about numbers, this, that, then the clients, they'll see that and they'll also come to you with questions. And you'll diminish your trust and your authority. The guy I spoke yesterday with that was burned by the ghostwriter, he had the same story happen. So he's in the payments industry, and he had the ghostwriter write a couple posts for him. He checked the posts, but the post just went out. The ghostwriter just did his thing and wasn't also really asking for approvals or checks. Also, super important topic to always let the person when the post will go online just approve the post. Approval process, super important. So a post went out where a statement was made which was false around some sort of commission, claims, and a service that the post said that he would do for clients, but he's actually not doing for clients. So all his current clients came to him with questions like, hey, what's this about? Why are you not doing this for me? If you're saying this in the post and you're not doing it for me, why are you not doing it for me yet? What am I paying you for? Which was very awkward for him. So skipping the brain and not setting good rules inside the brain will be noticed by everybody in your networks. Then point 2, which is the biggest mistake, is expecting like grandiose applause and big fame, but never really the case. Because the best buyers, they are lurkers. And the most big accounts on LinkedIn or any social media, to be honest, they also sell to the masses. Whereas most likely you are not selling to the masses, you are selling to a very targeted ICP that you've well defined and you know who you want to go after. And those people, targeted ICP, they read everything, but they don't really like anything. Like they don't really show themselves online, but they do arrive half sold because they've seen a lot of your posts. So you want to judge the list of leads and the calendar, which is both of things we'll make available and visible in our system so people can see that's happening. Third problem is automating the trust moment, which is trying to get people to automatically book in from content onto a calendar without having a conversation in the middle, or just like running ads straight to a calendar. Doesn't make sense. Doing a post straight to a calendar, same story. Because if a human answers, there'll be more trust built because there's a chat ongoing. You can drop case studies, client stories, personal stories about how you're going to visit to XYZ state next week. But you don't want to automate because automate can be seen as spam, which is fatal for the business and the trust of the business. So we always humanize this part by placing an actual human appointment setter on the LinkedIn profile that is trained on, one, the brain, so it can talk in your language. Plus, we'll do deep dive training sessions with this person so they're actually trained on you. They know how to set in general, like how to be a sales rep in general, but then obviously we need to layer on top of who you are so they can speak in your voice and what you sell. So how can you actually build this yourself? Step 1, capture your own expertise first. So build the brain before you start building content. And you can do this by implementing a meeting recorder tool like Fireflies or Fathom. You can also connect your Slack to your brain. You can also connect your email to your brain. You can also connect your calendar to the brain. If you have all these points, typically the day-to-day stuff is automatically captured into the brain, and you just need to plug it in, and it automatically once a day pulls it all up. For example, in our case, we have a CRM system that's connected to our own brain, and every single morning, every day, it pulls the pipeline and it sends our pipeline to our sales rep. The sales rep knows, okay, these are the hottest leads. I need to follow up with this person. Last time we had a chat with this person, it was about this. At the end of the day, it also goes through the entire day of sales calls and also just client calls. And it updates the CRM automatically based on all those transcripts of those calls. So, okay, cool. We had call X with client A. It was about updating their ICP or updating their DM strategy. Okay, cool. Let's log that in our project management tool. Cool, logged. Someone take care of it. Okay, same thing with sales call. Sales call 1, for example, we discussed this and this. We did some qualification, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. Update CRM and add those notes as well. So that's also sorted automatically. So that's the brain. If you don't have the brain and all those 5 points connected to it, the brain cannot operate because it doesn't know who you are. But once you have the brain, you can also set up CRM automations like that stuff. So then we need to rewrite your profile to make it position better, like a contact card or like your website, right? It's the same as that. Once people land on your profile to see, like, okay, this guy has authority, he has done XYZ in the space already and he's helped these people. We then need to write a daily post written from the brain so we actually get the exposure. Every single day, or 3, we want to write a post from the brain and publish it with your deep domain expertise on your subject. We then build a capture asset with a page and a list where we give something valuable away for free in order for us to get engagement on a post. So we want people to raise their hand, make themselves visible so we can then reach out to them. So then on step 5, we can start signal-based conversations with all these people, warm conversations that we can then work the lead slowly, provide more of our value, and from there on book a call. What we do is we also create a scoreboard from day one. It's called our Copilot, where all our data is connected into, so our clients can see, okay, this week we've gotten this many impressions, this much engagement, this much conversations. These conversations were started, like 10 conversations were started a day. From those 10 warm conversations, 5 started qualifying, 2 were qualified, 1 was booked. So that's a flow that they can see, and they can turn those dials up and down, and they can also upload more knowledge inside the brain themselves. So that's in short how we would build our exact system that's for all our client results. And if you rather see it running inside a firm like yours, before you decide anything on to build yourself, you can just message me the word system on LinkedIn. The link is in the description to my LinkedIn profile, and I will show you exactly the machine, what it produced week by week, and how you can judge it on the numbers. I can also show you the Copilot there. This channel on YouTube will go one layer deeper in the next couple of videos. So if this map was useful, the next videos will also just explain it all. Be sure to subscribe as well, and I'll see you in the next one.